Niagara Falls is a majestic waterfall located on the Niagara River between the city of Niagara in the state of New York, USA, and the city of Niagara in Ontario, Canada. The highest point of the falls on the American side is 56 meters, 184 feet, while on the Canadian side it is 54 meters, 177 feet. It consists of 3 waterfalls. The most famous is the Horseshoe Falls on the Canadian side, and the American Falls, which are separated by Goat Island. There is also a small waterfall on the American side called Bridal Veil Falls, next to Luna Island. The falls are located on the Niagara River, which drains Lake Erie into Lake Ontario. The combined falls have the highest flow rate of any waterfall in North America with a vertical drop of over 50 meters, 160 feet. During peak tourist hours in the daytime, over 168,000 cubic meters, 6 million cubic feet, of water flow over the crest of the falls every minute. Horseshoe Falls is the most powerful waterfall in North America based on flow rate. The falls are located 27 kilometers, 17 miles, northwest of Buffalo, New York, and 121 kilometers, 75 miles, southeast of Toronto. Niagara Falls was formed when Ice Age glaciers receded at the end of the Wisconsin glaciation, and the water carved a path through the Niagara Escarpment on its way to the Atlantic Ocean. In addition to being a popular tourist attraction, the falls are also used for hydroelectric power generation, making them an important economic resource for the region. The discovery of the falls is attributed to a Native American, and a statue was erected in his honor near the falls on the American side. Historians estimate that the age of Niagara Falls is around 10,000 years old, as it formed at the end of the last ice age. These falls are located on the Niagara River and branch off at Goat Island into the American Falls, which have a width of 305 meters, and into the semicircular Canadian Falls, Horseshoe Falls, which receive 94% of the water flow and have a width of 792 meters and a height of 48 meters. It is possible to access the Cave of the Winds, which was formed by the impact of the water, by walking behind the American Falls. Niagara Falls is a major tourist attraction due to its popularity, with 26 million visitors annually, especially from May to September. The most visited areas include the Cave of the Winds and the Rainbow Bridge, in addition to the popular Journey Behind the Falls experience. Its scenic views have been utilized in many international films, including parts of the Pirates of the Caribbean series and a movie featuring Superman. In October 1829, the famous American adventurer Sam Patch successfully jumped from the top of Niagara Falls, becoming the first person to survive such a leap. Horseshoe Falls drops from approximately 57 meters, 187 feet, while the height of the American Falls ranges between 21 and 30 meters, 69 and 98 feet, due to the presence of giant rocks at its base. The tallest and largest of the falls, Horseshoe Falls, stands at around 790 meters, 2,590 feet, in height, while the width of the American Falls is 320 meters, 1,050 feet. The distance between the farthest point of the American side of Niagara Falls and the Canadian side is 1,039 meters, 3,409 feet. The flow rate of water over the Horseshoe Falls reaches its peak at 6,400 cubic meters, 230,000 cubic feet, per second. The average annual flow rate is 2,400 cubic meters, 85,000 cubic feet, per second. The flow rate is highest in late spring or early summer due to the water levels of Lake Erie. During the summer months, at least 2,800 cubic meters, 99,000 cubic feet, per second of water pass over the falls, with about 90% of it going over the Horseshoe Falls and the rest being diverted for hydroelectric power generation. This is achieved through the use of the Herdman International Control Dam, with movable gates against the current of the Horseshoe Falls. The flow rate of the falls decreases by half at night, and during the low tourist season in winter, the minimum flow rate remains around 1,400 cubic meters, 49,000 cubic feet, per second. Water diversions are regulated under the 1950 Niagara Treaty and managed by the International Niagara Control Board, IJC. The green color of the flowing water over the Niagara Falls is a secondary result of approximately 60 tons per minute of dissolved salts and rock flour, very finely ground rocks, generated by the erosive power of the Niagara River itself. On October 24, 1901, Annie Edson Taylor, a 63-year-old schoolteacher from Michigan, became the first person to go over the falls in a barrel as a publicity stunt. She survived but suffered a minor injury and stated shortly after her feat, "No one should ever do that again." Prior to Taylor's attempt, her local cat named Biagra was sent over the Horseshoe Falls in her barrel on October 19 to test its strength. Contrary to rumors at the time, the cat survived the falls without injury and was later photographed with Taylor. Since Taylor's historic trip, over 10 individuals intentionally went over or on the falls, despite her advice. Some survived without injury, while others drowned or suffered severe injuries. Survivors face charges and hefty fines, as it is now illegal on both sides of the border to attempt to go over the falls. In 1911, Bobby Leach went over the Horseshoe Falls in a steel barrel and had to be rescued by William "Red" Hill Sr. Hill later returned to rescue Leach after his failed attempt to swim the Niagara Whirlpool in 1920. In 1918, there was a close call when a barge operating in the upper river, locally known as the Niagara Scow, broke loose from its towline and came dangerously close to going over the falls. The two workers on board saved themselves by grounding the scow on rocks a short distance from the falls, where it has remained since. Red Hill was credited with saving the men. In October 2019, due to severe weather conditions, the Niagara Scow finally shifted from its original resting place and came close to the edge of Horseshoe Falls. In 1928, Jean Lucier tried a completely different concept by going over the falls in a large rubber ball. He succeeded and survived the ordeal. Charles Stevens